Hello, how you doing?
How you doing?
Your name is?
Tim Baymon.
Hey, Tim, how you doing? Kevin Washington, pleasure to meet you. Have a seat.
Appreciate it.
Tell me a little bit about how you got engaged with the YMCA.
I'm from Springfield, Mass. originally. Been with the Y for about 8.5 years. Started my career in the Springfield YMCA. Worked in youth development.
Tell me a little bit about you, Tim.
So raised by my mom. A mom, she had 4 of us, so I'm the oldest male of the family. Had an opportunity, at a young age to be in spaces where I was in leadership roles a lot. Always a part of community initiatives, and just really prided myself in being a leader.
Did you go to college?
I did.
Were you the first in your family?
I was. Worked in juvenile lockup, worked in group homes and things of that nature during college, and applied for a position at the YMCA as a program director. Worked in Springfield about 2.5 years, did a lot of things in youth development for that particular association. Started a lot of initiatives with out-of-state college tours, which weren't happening in the community. Taking them to schools like Harvard, Princeton, Yale, to see what it's like to be on those campuses, which was very impactful for our young people. One of the biggest parts of that experience for me is I took my 6-year-old son on a college tour with us. He participated in every activity that the students were involved in. Very important for me and very significant as a dad. A lot of us people of color, we weren't brought on college tours at young ages. We didn't know about college tours who were in high school and maybe not even then. So at 6 years old, I had an opportunity to just give my son that experience.
What are your ambitions, not only for you, but for the YMCA as an organization?
I want to be in a space where I can continue to make, positive impact on communities. I think it's important that, I model through my actions. And I think that for the YMCA, we have an opportunity to really make some impact and really address, racial injustice, social inequality in our communities. We have diverse communities. We serve a lot of different people. Our responsibility is to help our communities and combat those inequities. So what advice would you give a young Black professional on how to navigate and kind of transition their career?
The thing that I challenged myself on, and I'll tell you this, Tim, I worked at the Y in Philadelphia that I grew up in. I grew up in Philadelphia. I went to school in Philadelphia. I went to high school in Philadelphia. I went to college in Philadelphia. I went to Temple University. I played basketball in Philadelphia. So I had a lot of networks in Philly. And the question I had to ask myself was my success in Philadelphia because I knew people, or was it because I had some skill sets from working in the Y that were transferable? And I had to answer that question. So that's when I moved to Chicago. And that question was answered because it really was about the skill sets that I was learned in the Y that were transferable and working in communities. So I would say, don't be afraid to move.
That's funny because, started in Springfield, I transitioned to Hartford and, having an opportunity to come to Boston and seeing things on a larger scale and initially working in operations for youth development, but the transition into branch operations was a whole different set of skills that I had to learn. So I think this has been a great opportunity for me and for my team to build and learn and grow. So what are some of your biggest accomplishments in your time in Boston?
I would say just a couple of things. One, the ability to transform this Y into what it is today. So Tim, we're in the city of Boston, one of the places I had the pleasure of working. It's good to be back here. And as you can see in the history of this great organization, started at the Old South Church, which is not too far from here. And the Huntington Y was completed in 1912, as you can see. And the cornerstone was laid by William Howard Taft. One of the things that we did when I was here was we did do a major renovation because we sold a piece of it to Northeastern. But one of the prerequisites was to make sure we maintained the historic look of this facility because they don't build them like this anymore. I really enjoyed my time in Boston. I had great relationships with the then former mayor, Mayor Menino, and we had a really strong, diverse team of people working for us. All of those things were important aspects to being in Boston.
I do want to touch a little bit on diversity, equity, and inclusion because the Y played a critical role in my career. In that regard, I had an opportunity to, within my first 2 years, to be a part of the multicultural mentoring program and it allowed me to be a part of different programs on a national level. My first time out of the country was with the Y. So there's a lot of firsts for me with this organization. They helped me to understand how to be a better professional, how to show up the right way, how to, preparing me to be in a role to be an exec. And I ultimately am grateful for those opportunities, because without those opportunities, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
Glad to hear that. All of those things are part of institutionalizing, if you will, how diversity, inclusion, and equity can make this organization be reflective of who America really is. So I'm glad that you had those experiences. And the fact that you had them, you want to make sure that the next and the next and the next generation has those. That's the beauty of being the first in it. You realize how important they were in your development, and you want everyone to have those experiences. And that's exactly how we move this organization forward.